Hello, Erica here, and I'm here today to do a review of All Backs Returned by Mark Hlasko. I should know. I don't know. He is a Polish author. This was originally published in the original Polish in 1964. It was translated, and this edition was published in 2014 by New Vessel Press. I should say that I did receive this copy for review from New Vessel Press, but that I requested it. This video is in no way sponsored. I am not being paid for this. New Vessel Press is a small independent publisher. They publish works in translation that are lesser known. They have a pretty small catalog at the moment, but it is growing. I was really interested in their publishing house after I read The Missing Year of Juan Salvatierra in January, and so I requested a couple of books for review from them, and I got some, and it was great. So this is a tiny little story about two men living in Israel and kind of the trouble they get up to when they get in trouble with the law and have to move out of Tel Aviv and into a smaller town with one of the characters' families. The two main characters are called Dov Ben Dov and Israel, which was interesting because the book is set in Israel, but then one of the main characters is named Israel. I don't want to give too much more away about the plot because it's really short and you should just read it. But I will say thematically that this was definitely kind of a meditation on violence. It's kind of a meditation on what we will do out of desperation, what people will do to protect the people that they love, or what they'll do to obtain the love of someone whose love they feel like they deserve, if that makes sense. I did take a little bit of issue with the female characters in this story. I felt like they were really flatly developed until like maybe the last 20 pages or so, when they kind of came into their own and we realized that they had their own motivation for the way that they acted, but it felt a little bit too little too late for me. But the book was originally published in the 60s, so that being considered, it's actually not bad in its portrayal of women. The prose style is very simple. It's very dialogue-driven. It was very reminiscent of Hemingway for me, and maybe like Camus. Like if Albert Camus and Ernest Hemingway had a baby, this would be the book. But because the prose is so dialogue-driven, it led itself to some interesting observations on the character, and the characters were developed in kind of unique ways. And one thing I really enjoyed about the character development in this book is that the two main male characters at the beginning are kind of acting as foils for each other, but by the end of the book, they've really merged into one archetype, one type of character. And I thought that that was really interesting. Basically, the story is more of a character study than it is anything else, though it packs a lot of plot for so few pages. Overall, I gave this 3.5 stars. I kind of do wish that it had been longer and fleshed out a little bit more, but it was a nice quick read. I definitely recommend this to anyone who, like me, likes grittier stories and prose styles, or if you're just interested in reading more work in translation. This is a tiny little story by a Polish author, and I hardly see anyone talk about Polish literature on BookTube, so there's that, too. If you have any questions, let's talk in the comments. Bye!